10. Rules that build an unstoppable life. Rules 1 through 5. Think of the last thing you promised yourself you would do. Go to the gym. Study English. Start that business. Wake up earlier. Build that habit. Now think about what actually happened. If you're being honest with yourself right now, there's a good chance that promise is still sitting there. Unfulfilled. Collecting dust. Turning into quiet guilt every time you think about it. And the painful part is not that you failed. The painful part is that you've failed so many times that you've started to believe failing is just who you are. I'm here today to tell you that is not true, and I'm going to prove it. In this video, you're getting the first 5 of 10 rules. Not tips, not suggestions, rules. The same rules that separate people who achieve extraordinary things from people who spend their whole lives wondering why nothing ever changes. Stay until the end of this part, because Rule 5 contains the single most practical tool in this entire series. The one that makes all the other rules actually work in real life. And make sure you watch Part 2, because that's where the rules get even deeper, and where you'll find the 10-word vocabulary section that will upgrade your English immediately. I'm your English teacher. I teach language through life lessons that matter. Because you don't just need better English. You need a better life. And the best way to get both is to learn together. Let's begin. Rule 1. Consistency beats everything. Let's start with a truth that most people understand in theory, but never apply in practice. Success is not a single dramatic moment. It is not one big break, one viral post, one lucky opportunity. Success is 1,000 small, boring, invisible actions that most people never see. Think about any athlete you admire. When you watch them compete, you see 30 seconds of excellence. What you don't see are the years of practice behind that moment. The early mornings before sunrise. The training sessions where nothing felt right. The days when quitting would have been so much easier than continuing. That invisible work, that quiet, repetitive, unsexy labor, that is what consistency looks like in real life. Here's the example that makes this undeniable. Imagine 2 people who both want to lose weight and get healthy. The first person goes to the gym for 4 intense hours every Saturday. They push themselves to the limit. They feel exhausted. They feel accomplished. And then they go home and do nothing for the next 6 days. The second person goes to the gym for just 30 minutes every single day. Some days they barely have energy. Some days they walk in tired and walk out still tired, but they show up, without exception. After 6 months, who wins? Not the person who tried harder, the person who tried more consistently, every single time. Because consistency beats intensity, not occasionally, always. You don't grow when you're in the mood for it. You grow when you refuse to stop even when you're not in the mood. And here is the application for your English. You can study for 10 hours on a Sunday and absorb very little, or you can study for 30 focused minutes every single day and become fluent faster than you ever thought possible. 30 minutes, every day. No conditions, no excuses. In just a moment, I'm going to expose the biggest lie the self-improvement industry ever told you. And it's the lie that's been holding you back for years. Stay right there. Rule 2. Discipline is the real engine. Let me dismantle something right now. You have probably been told your whole life that the secret to success is staying motivated. Find your why. Watch inspiring videos. Surround yourself with positive energy. Stay pumped up, and the results will come. That advice is well-intentioned. And it is almost completely wrong. Here's why. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are temporary. They fluctuate with your sleep quality, your stress levels, your blood sugar, your social media feed. One morning you wake up ready to conquer the world. That same evening you're lying on the couch wondering why you even bother. That's not weakness. That's biology. Human emotions are not designed to stay at peak intensity. They rise and fall like ocean waves. If your consistency depends on how you feel, then your consistency will rise and fall, like those waves too. Motivation is like the wind, beautiful when it shows up, gone without any warning. But discipline is like the sun. It rises every morning, regardless of the season, regardless of your mood, regardless of what happened yesterday. Discipline is this simple: doing what you said you would do, especially when you no longer feel like doing it. Let me show you the contrast with real examples. Motivation says, I'll study English when I feel inspired. Discipline says, I study English at 7 in the morning because I made that commitment to myself. Motivation says, I'll exercise when I feel energetic. Discipline says, I exercise every day because my health is non-negotiable. Motivation asks, how do I feel about this right now? Discipline says, it doesn't matter how I feel. I said I would, so I will. Think about a soldier. Does a soldier ask each morning whether they feel inspired to train? Whether they're in the mood for discipline today? No. They execute their mission because their commitment goes deeper than feelings. Their discipline protects lives. Their consistency is not optional. And here's the insight that changes everything about how you think about this. Sometimes motivation doesn't come before you start. Sometimes it comes after. You don't feel like studying. You sit down and open your book anyway. You read for 5 minutes, then 10, and then you realize you're actually enjoying it. The motivation arrived, but only after the discipline pulled it through the door. Act first, feel it later. That's the sequence that actually works. But even discipline isn't enough if you're trapped in the most common mental prison of them all. Rule 3 is about to expose it. Rule 3, stop waiting. The perfect moment is killing your dreams. Here's a question. How many things are you waiting to start? Because for most people, the list is long. I'll start speaking English when my vocabulary is better. I'll launch the business when I have more money. I'll go to the gym when I feel more confident. I'll record my first video when I have a professional camera. You're not waiting for the right conditions. You're hiding from action. And your brain is helping you hide. Here's the psychology. If you never start, you can never fail. If you never put your work in front of people, nobody can judge it as bad. If you never take the risk, you never have to experience rejection. So your brain quietly generates an endless list of reasons why right now isn't quite the right moment. One more thing to prepare. One more skill to develop. One more piece of equipment to buy. Procrastination is not laziness. Procrastination is fear wearing a very convincing disguise. And while you wait, here's what happens. Someone else, with half your talent and twice your courage, just starts. They use their phone instead of a camera. They speak imperfect English with a heavy accent. Their first post is rough, their first video is raw, their first attempt is messy, but they put it out there anyway. And in 2 years, they have skills. They have an audience. They have confidence. They have a track record of showing up. They have everything you're still waiting to have before you begin. You do not become good first, then start. You start first, then become good. Mastery lives on the other side of beginning, not before it. Think about every fluent English speaker you've ever admired. Every single one of them mispronounced words in public. Every single one of them made grammar mistakes in conversations. Every single one of them sounded uncertain and unprepared in their early stages. But they started anyway. That's why they're fluent now. Progress is not glamorous. Progress is awkward and slow and imperfect. But progress is the only path that leads anywhere worth going. Stop waiting for perfect. Start chasing progress. Because every master was a beginner once. And every success story you've ever admired began with one brave decision. Coming up next is the rule that makes everything sustainable. The one most coaches skip. Don't miss it. Rule 4. Set goals your brain will actually follow. Now let's talk about why most goals fail before they even start. People set goals that sound powerful, but are designed to destroy themselves. They say, I will study English for 5 hours every day starting tomorrow. I will never eat junk food again. I will wake up at 4 in the morning, run 10 kilometers, meditate, read 50 pages, and build my business before breakfast. That sounds impressive in the moment. But when life gets hard, and life always gets hard, those goals collapse like a house of cards. And when they collapse, you don't just lose the goal. You lose confidence. You lose trust in yourself. You feel like a failure again. The problem wasn't that you were weak. The problem was that you set a goal your brain could not sustain every single day. Here's the test. If you feel motivated and energetic, you can probably do anything for one day. The real question is, can you do this on a day when you're tired, stressed, overwhelmed, and life is falling apart around you? Because that day is coming. Guaranteed. Let me show you the difference between a crushing goal and a consistent one. Version 1. I will study English for 5 hours every day. Day 1, you do it perfectly. Day 2, you're tired but you push through. Day 3, you miss it entirely. Day 4, you feel guilty and paralyzed. Day 5, you've quietly abandoned the whole thing. Version 2. I will study English for 25 minutes every day. No exceptions. On your worst day, you can find 25 minutes. When you're traveling, you can find 25 minutes. When you're exhausted, when you're stressed, when everything is chaos, you can still find 25 minutes. So you do it. Every day. And in 6 months, your English has transformed. Not because you were perfect, because you were consistent. Here is your new goal-setting rule. Every goal you set must survive your worst day. Want to read more? Commit to 10 pages a day, not an hour. Want to wake up earlier? Move your alarm back 15 minutes this week, not 2 hours. Want to get fit? Commit to 20 minutes of movement every day, not 2 hours in the gym. When the goal feels almost too small, that's when it becomes powerful. Because your brain stops resisting it. Your brain simply says, okay, I can do this. And that's where lasting change begins. But even small, realistic goals fail when they depend on one thing most people overlook completely. Rule 5 is the upgrade that makes everything sustainable. Rule 5. Stop relying on willpower. Build a system. Here's something that might challenge everything you've been taught about success. Willpower is not reliable. And the most successful people in the world are not successful because they have more willpower than you. They're successful because they've built systems that don't require willpower at all. Think about this. You decide you're going to wake up at 5 in the morning to study. The alarm goes off. It's cold. It's dark. You're warm and comfortable under your blanket. In that moment, you need willpower to override every signal your body is sending you. And willpower is like a battery. It drains. Every decision you make throughout the day depletes it slightly. By evening, it's nearly gone. That's why most people fail at evening workouts and late-night study sessions. Not because they're lazy, because their willpower battery is already empty. The solution is not to find more willpower. The solution is to build systems that automate your good choices. Here's an analogy that makes this crystal clear. Making coffee manually. Every morning you measure the grounds, heat the water, time the extraction. Sometimes you're late, sometimes you're too tired, sometimes you skip it altogether. The result varies because it depends entirely on your daily effort and mood. Now imagine a programmable coffee machine. The night before, you load it, set the timer, and press a button. When you wake up, the coffee is already made. Hot, perfect, automatic. No decision required. No willpower needed. No chance of skipping. The coffee is the same. But the system eliminated the friction. That's what a good system does for your habits. It removes the daily decision. It removes the need to feel motivated. It just happens because you designed it to happen. Want to study English every morning? Block a calendar event that repeats every day. Put your study materials on your pillow the night before. Connect it to something you already do every morning, like your first cup of coffee. Want to exercise? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Put them where you'll step on them when you get out of bed. Want to eat healthier? Remove the junk food from your home. Make the good choice the easy choice. Make the right action easy. Make the wrong action hard. And watch your behavior change without fighting yourself every single day. Because when your systems are strong, success stops being something you have to chase. It becomes something you can't avoid. That's the end of part 1. 5 rules down, 5 more to go. In part 2, we go even deeper. You will learn why small actions are more powerful than big ones, the neuroscience behind mastery, 5 specific weapons to defeat procrastination, and the 2 voices inside you that fight for your future every single day. Plus the full vocabulary section with 10 essential English phrases that native speakers use every day. Rules 6 through 10 vocabulary closing. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, go back and watch part 1 first. It covers the foundation, the first 5 rules you need, before these next 5 will make complete sense. For those of you returning, you've already learned that consistency beats intensity, that discipline is more powerful than motivation, that the perfect moment never arrives, that your goals must survive your worst day, and that systems beat willpower every single time. Now we go deeper. The next 5 rules are where most people's knowledge ends. And that's exactly why most people stay stuck. Let's continue. Rule 6. Small actions, massive results. Most people are addicted to big actions. They want the dramatic transformation, the overnight success, the massive leap forward. And because they're waiting for the big moment, they dismiss the small ones. 10 minutes of English practice? That's nothing. 1 workout won't change my body. Reading 2 pages isn't real progress. So they do nothing, waiting for the time and energy and conditions to be right for the big action. The big action never arrives, and they stay exactly where they are. Here's the truth they're missing. There is a law in the universe called the compound effect. It states that small actions, repeated consistently every day, create results that eventually become enormous. Not overnight, not in a week, but over time. Think about a plant you water every day. The first day, nothing visible happens. The second day, the same. The third, the fourth, the 10th, nothing. You might start to wonder if it's working at all, but the water doesn't disappear. It accumulates in the soil. It feeds the roots. It builds infrastructure you can't see. And then one day, almost without warning, the plant pushes through the surface and begins to grow rapidly. It wasn't the water you gave it today that made it grow. It was the water you gave it every day before today. This is exactly what happens to your English, to your body, to your career, to your relationships. You show up every day and see nothing obvious. Then suddenly everyone around you is calling you lucky, calling you talented, wondering how you got so good so fast. They didn't see the compound effect building underground. Let me make this practical. Want to build strength? Start with 5 minutes of movement every day. Want to write a book? Write 100 words every day. Want to master English? Say 3 sentences out loud every single day. Do any of these for 90 days without stopping. Then come back and measure where you are. The results will feel impossible, but they won't be. They'll be the entirely predictable outcome of consistent small actions multiplied by time. Stop ignoring what seems small. Start honoring it, because inside every small habit is the seed of an extraordinary life. Rule 7. Repetition is mastery. Here is the secret that every genius, every fluent speaker, every elite athlete, every great artist shares. It's not talent. It's not natural ability. It's not a gift from birth. It's this. They have repeated the same thing so many times that their brain does it automatically, without effort, without fear, without resistance. When you try something once and fail, your brain says, "That's too hard. That's not for people like me. I'm just not built for this." Wrong. You don't fail at things because you lack talent. You fail because you haven't repeated them enough yet. Here's the neuroscience. Every time you repeat an action, your brain builds a stronger connection between the neurons involved in that action. Scientists call these neural pathways. Think of them as paths through a dense forest. The first time you walk through, it's hard. There's no path. You're pushing through branches, stumbling over roots. It's slow and exhausting. The second time, slightly easier. Some branches are already pushed aside. After 50 times, there's a clear trail. After 100 times, it's a wide, smooth road. This is what mastery actually is. Not a mysterious gift, just a pathway your brain has built through repetition. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall. Again and again and again. Dozens of times an hour, every day for weeks. But they keep getting up. They don't decide they're not a walking person. They don't give up because it's hard. They keep doing it until their brain builds the neural pathway. And then one day, walking is effortless. That's exactly what happens when you practice English every day. It's what happens when you repeat your morning routine every day. The action moves from conscious effort to automatic behavior. And once it's automatic, you've truly made it yours. Apply this rule right now. Want to speak English naturally? Repeat the same sentence structures every day for 30 days. Want to break procrastination? Start working within 60 seconds of sitting down every single day for 30 days. Want to transform your body? Repeat the same movement for 30 days without stopping. If you feel stuck, don't try harder. Repeat more. Repetition doesn't wear you down. Repetition builds you up. Rule 8. 5 weapons to defeat procrastination. Let's address the enemy directly. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It's not a laziness problem. It's not an intelligence problem. It is a discomfort avoidance problem. Every goal that matters to you requires you to feel uncomfortable at some point. Speaking English in public feels uncomfortable. Starting a new exercise routine feels uncomfortable. Sitting down to study when you'd rather scroll through your phone feels uncomfortable. So your brain, which is designed to avoid discomfort, creates reasons to delay. Let's do it later. Let me watch one more video. Let me clean my desk first. I'll feel more ready tomorrow. And every time you agree with that voice, you train your brain to avoid action more efficiently. The pattern deepens. The procrastination becomes automatic. But here's what procrastination actually costs you. It doesn't just steal your time, it attacks your confidence. Because every time you tell yourself you'll do something and then don't, you lose a small amount of trust in yourself. And after enough broken promises, you stop believing you're capable of change at all. That's the real damage. Here are 5 weapons to fight back. Weapon 1. The 5-second rule. The moment you think of something you need to do, count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move. Stand up. Open the laptop. Pick up the book. Before your brain has time to generate an objection. Weapon 2. The 2-minute rule. Tell yourself, I'll just do 2 minutes. That's all. Once you start, momentum takes over. Because starting is always the hardest moment. Weapon 3. Remove the decision. Don't ask yourself every morning whether you feel like studying. 9 in the morning is English time. Full stop. No decision required. It's already decided. Weapon 4. Make it visible. Track your habit on a physical calendar. Put a red check mark every day you show up. Watch the chain grow. After 10 days, breaking the chain feels worse than the habit itself. Weapon 5. Change the language. Don't say I have to study English. Say I get to improve my English today. Don't say I must exercise. Say I'm investing in my body today. The language you use changes how your brain interprets the task. People who win don't wait until they feel ready. They act. Then they feel ready. The discomfort of beginning lasts 5 minutes. The regret of not beginning lasts a lifetime. Now we arrive at a rule most people spend their entire lives violating without realizing it. Rule 9. is about a battle that happens inside you every single day. Stay with me. This one is deep. Rule 9. Follow your mind, not your feelings. Every single day, you have two voices competing inside your head. The first voice says, "Rest today. You've earned it. Don't speak English right now. What if you make a mistake? Skip the gym. You're tired. Do it tomorrow. Today is not the right day." The second voice says, "You said you had a goal. You know what needs to happen. Get moving." Which voice you follow, consistently, across thousands of small moments, is what determines the entire trajectory of your life. We live in a culture that worships instant gratification. Follow your heart, do what feels good, honor your emotions, and there's truth in that. For certain decisions, for relationships, for creativity, for joy, but for building discipline, for achieving long-term goals, for creating the life you actually want, your immediate feelings are often your worst advisor. Your feelings want comfort right now. They want warmth and ease and entertainment and the path of least resistance. They're not thinking about the version of you 6 months from now. They're thinking about the next 5 minutes. Your rational mind, the patient, forward-thinking part of you, understands something your feelings forget. Discomfort now equals strength later. Hard work now equals freedom later. Difficult decisions now equal an easier life later. Imagine your alarm rings at 6 in the morning. Your feelings say, "It's cold, stay warm, you need more sleep." Your rational mind says, "You committed to a better life, get up." Most people hit snooze. They follow their feelings into a warm 30 minutes, and they carry the weight of that choice, a dull guilt, a mild self-disappointment, for the rest of the day. The people who get up, not because it feels good but because they decided who they are going to be, start their day with a small victory that compounds. Here's how to train yourself to follow your mind. Before any big decision, ask yourself, am I making this choice from comfort or from growth? Every morning ask, what would the best version of me do today? Then do that, not what your feelings want, what your most capable self would choose. Create emotional rules. No major decisions when I'm upset or exhausted. No quitting on a hard day. No breaking commitments, just because I don't feel like it today. These rules protect your goals from the weather of your emotions. You'll always have both voices, the voice of comfort and the voice of growth. Follow the second one, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. That is where your character is forged. Rule 10. Do one thing. Do it deeply. We arrive at the final rule. And it might be the most important one of all. Most people fail, not because they lack talent. They fail because they are trying to win too many battles at the same time. They want to start a business, learn English, get fit, read 50 books, build a YouTube channel, improve their relationships, save money, develop confidence, and master a new skill. All simultaneously, all urgently, all right now. So they spread their energy so thin across so many fronts that nothing moves. They're everywhere and nowhere. Busy, but unproductive. Working hard, but not advancing. Here's a truth that cuts through all the noise. You can be average at everything, or great at one thing. You cannot be great at everything. Greatness comes from depth, not breadth. It comes from going all the way into something, not touching everything lightly. Think about the most respected people you know, in any field. They didn't get there by being competent across 10 areas. They got there by going deeper than anyone else into one thing until they became undeniable. So here is your final challenge. Right now, today, pick one skill to build, one language to master, one habit to lock in, one area of your life to transform over the next 90 days. Not 3, not 5, 1. Put every unit of your consistency, your discipline, your systems, your repetition into that one thing, because focused energy is the most powerful force available to any human being. A river that flows in one direction carves canyons. A river that spreads across a flat plain barely dampens the soil. Be the canyon river. Choose one direction. Go all the way in. Now, let's lock in your English with 10 essential phrases. Vocabulary Power Section. Word 1. Consistency. Pronunciation: kun. Sis. 10. C. Definition: the quality of doing something regularly and at the same standard over a sustained period of time. Example: she didn't become fluent by studying hard 1 week and stopping. It was her consistency over 2 years that made the difference. Memory hook: consist, to always insist on the same behavior. Consistency means constantly insisting on showing up. Native context: the key to his success was consistency, not talent. Extremely common in sports, business, and self-improvement conversations. Word 2. Fluctuate. Pronunciation: fluctuate. Definition: to change frequently and unpredictably, moving up and down without a clear pattern. Example: motivation fluctuates depending on your energy, your mood, and what's happening in your life. Memory hook: fluctuate. Sounds like flux wave. Something in flux is always wavering, like a wave going up and down. Native context: the market has been fluctuating all week. His energy really fluctuates. Some days he's unstoppable. Other days he can barely function. Word 3. Sustainable. Pronunciation: stay, nu, bull. Definition: able to be continued or maintained over a long period without breaking down or exhausting resources. Example: working 16 hours a day might produce results short-term, but it's not sustainable over months. Memory hook: sustain means to keep going. Sustainable means it can keep going for a long, long time without collapsing. Native context: we need a sustainable strategy, not a quick fix. Very common in business, fitness, and lifestyle conversations. Word 4. Automate. Pronunciation: automate. Definition: to make a process happen automatically without requiring conscious effort or decision-making each time. Example: I automated my savings by setting up an automatic transfer on the 1st of every month. I don't have to decide to save, it just happens. Memory hook: auto means self. Automate means the system runs by itself, without you driving it manually. Native context: I automate as many habits as possible, so I don't have to rely on willpower. Word 5. Compound effect. Pronunciation: compound. Effect. Definition: the principle that small, consistent actions, repeated over time, build on each other and eventually produce results that seem disproportionately large. Example: the compound effect is why investing $50 a month for 30 years produces far more wealth than you'd expect from such small contributions. Memory hook: compound means two things combining to create something more powerful than either alone. Actions combine and multiply over time. Native context: the compound effect is real small daily habits, produce results that look like overnight success to everyone watching from the outside. Word 6. Neural pathway. Pronunciation: neural pathway. Definition: a connection in the brain formed by the repetition of thoughts, actions, or behaviors. The more you repeat something, the stronger this pathway becomes. Example: every time you practice speaking English, you strengthen the neural pathway for it, making it easier and more natural each time. Memory hook: neural relates to nerves and the brain. Pathway is a road. A neural pathway is literally a road built in your brain through repetition. Native context: habits are just well-worn neural pathways, common in neuroscience, psychology, and coaching conversations. Word 7. Avoidance. Pronunciation: avoidance. Definition: The behavior of staying away from or postponing things that cause discomfort, fear, or anxiety. Example: his constant avoidance of difficult conversations was slowly destroying his relationships without him realizing it. Memory hook: avoid, plus the suffix ance, making it a noun. The practice of avoiding things. Native context: that's not productivity, that's task avoidance. Word 8. Instant gratification. Pronunciation: in, stunt grat, if, k, shun. Definition: the desire for immediate reward or pleasure, rather than waiting for a larger or more meaningful benefit later. Example: social media is designed for instant gratification, quick dopamine hits that keep you scrolling instead of working on what actually matters. Memory hook: instant means right now. Gratification means satisfaction. Instant gratification means wanting to feel satisfied this very second. Native context: we live in a culture obsessed with instant gratification. Word 9. Diluted. Pronunciation: tid. Definition: weakened or made less effective by being spread across too many things or mixed with too many competing elements. Example: his efforts were so diluted across 10 different projects that none of them ever reached their potential. Memory hook: think of diluting a drink. You add too much water and it loses its flavor and strength. Your energy works the same way. Native context: don't dilute your focus. Word 10. Trajectory. Pronunciation: re. Definition: the path or direction that something takes over time, the curve of progress or development. Example: the small daily choices you make right now are already determining the trajectory of your life 5 years from now. Memory hook: think of the arc of a thrown ball. Once it's in motion, its trajectory is determined by the angle and force at the start. Your habits work the same way. Native context: I needed to change my trajectory. She's on a remarkable career trajectory. 10 rules, 10 words, both locked in your mind now. Closing. We started this video series with a question that stings. Think about the last thing you promised yourself you would do and what actually happened. Now, at the end of these 2 parts, you have something different. You have a blueprint, not a wish, not an inspiration, a practical, psychological, science-backed blueprint for becoming someone who shows up, builds habits, and creates results that others will call impossible. Let's review your 10 rules. Rule 1. Consistency beats intensity. 30 minutes every day destroys 4 hours once a week. Rule 2. Discipline over motivation. Build systems that work on your worst days, not just your best ones. Rule 3. Start before you're ready. Perfection is procrastination wearing a mask. Progress is the only destination that actually exists. Rule 4. Set goals your brain can sustain. Make them small enough to do on your hardest day. Rule 5. Build systems, not willpower. Automate your good choices and remove the friction from them. Rule 6. Trust the compound effect. Small daily actions are the most powerful force available to you. Rule 7. Repeat until it's automatic. Neural pathways are built through repetition, not talent. Rule 8. Attack procrastination with specific weapons. The 5-second rule, the 2-minute rule, the decision removal system. Rule 9. Follow your mind, not your immediate feelings. Comfort now or greatness later. Choose every single day. Rule 10. Go deep, not wide. Pick one thing, master it. Build your entire consistency system around that one thing until it becomes undeniable. And here is the one thing that holds all 10 rules together. Consistency is not something you practice. Consistency is something you become. You don't add it on top of your life like a habit you install. You allow it to become the foundation of your identity. You decide, I am someone who shows up. Not sometimes, not when it's easy, always. From that decision, Everything else follows automatically. So here is what I want you to do today. Not this week, today. Write down your one thing, the single skill, the single habit, the single area of life you are going to commit to for the next 90 days. Write down your daily action, something small enough that you can do it on your worst day without any negotiation. Write down your system. How will you make this automatic? What's your trigger, your time, your environment? 3 lines, that's all. Do that before you close this video. Because intention without action is just a wish, and you've had enough wishes. It's time for results. Now, if this 2-part series gave you something real, here's what I need from you. Subscribe to this channel. We go deep every single week on English, psychology, and the mindset that builds extraordinary lives. Drop a comment right now. Tell me which of the 10 rules hit you hardest. Was it the compound effect? The neural pathway insight? The procrastination weapons? Rule 9 about emotions? I want to know. I read everything. Share this with one person. One person you know who is stuck in the start and stop cycle. One person who needs this blueprint today. Send them this video. And here's what we're covering next time. The psychology of fear. Why it feels so real. Why your brain magnifies it beyond reality. And the exact 5-step process to walk straight through it instead of being paralyzed by it. That video will change how you operate under pressure forever. Don't miss it. One final thought to carry with you. The extraordinary life you want is not hiding behind a big lucky break. It is buried inside 10,000 ordinary moments that most people skip. The moment when the alarm rings and you get up. The moment when you sit down to study even though you don't feel like it. The moment when you choose growth over comfort. Each of those moments is a vote. A vote for the person you're becoming. Cast enough votes, and that person becomes real. I'll see you in the next video. Now, go build something.